Thank you to Stila Antico for uplifting us at the beginning of our celebration here this afternoon. I'm both delighted and proud to launch the 2013-14 concert season. Today's event is a very important moment in our annual cycle of activities here and one of the most pleasant and rewarding tasks that I get to perform as director. At the outset, I must acknowledge the magnificent contribution made by all of you here today who helped to raise the £1.2 million that we need each season to underpin the ever-expanding artistic remit of the Hall across some 425 concerts and 400 educational events every year. Your essential support bridges the gap between ticket sales and overall operational costs, and we need your ongoing help now as much as ever. Planning for a sound future is at the heart of everything that we do, so thank you all, especially to our lead donors, to our season patrons, to syndicate donors, to corporate and individual concert sponsors, to trusts and foundations, to the Rubinstein Circle, and to patron and member friends at all levels. Wigmore Hall stands as a great tribute to the countless legendary artists who have performed here since it opened its doors in 1901. It's amazing to consider that this great hall is now such an important, buzzing, international cultural landmark, and we owe everybody who supports us an enormous debt of gratitude. 93% of our income comes from our own fundraising and commercial efforts, with our public funders, Arts Council England, providing the last vital 7%. As you have seen in the past 10 years, your investment means that we now include major, groundbreaking projects, many of which simply would not have been possible in the past. Your support allows us to take up the torch and shine it brightly over our unique and indispensable chamber music world, the world of the string quartet, the piano trio, the song recital, the young chamber composer, the magnificent sound world of early and Baroque music, and the excitement of discovering the emerging pianist or singer or young composer, and much more besides. We are very proud of these traditions, and we're anxious to share them and our musical experiences as much as possible with a wider community, especially through our record label and broadcasting live on BBC Radio 3, now several times a week, which attracts hundreds of thousands of listeners per broadcast. And of course, we want to embrace exciting new media and digital broadcasting opportunities as they open up to us in the years ahead, passing on what we can to future generations. The current season is expected to yield more than 190,000 ticket sales, bringing in almost £3 million in concert revenue. 7 years ago, the Hall was selling just 120,000 tickets, and this increase of around 65% in concert attendance is unique in any established concert venue in the international classical music world. Carefully fusing and balancing new ideas with cornerstones of the core repertoire, we have seen our audience base expand and diversify as our new projects attract many new faces and very often capacity houses. Additional investment in marketing is also essential to maintain a competitive edge and to sustain these audience figures well into the future. The place has never been busier, but an increased audience through the Hall means increasing building maintenance and other inflationary expenses. So we're constantly thinking about how we plan for the future. And to that end, we have created a new endowment fund for Wigmore Hall, the purpose of which is to invest in the development of many more inspirational projects in residencies and programs with the world's leading performers and ensembles. The endowment fund will run for over 25 years, and we will draw down both on capital and on the interest on the capital to fund the kinds of projects which add so much to our programme season after season. This has come about thanks to Arts Council England's Catalyst Endowment Award, which pledges to match all donations to the fund up to £1 million. This means that every pound that you give to this fund will be doubled. We have until May 2015 to reach the £1 million mark, and I know that many of you will want to help us to meet this challenge. But most importantly, today, I'm very pleased to announce that we are already more than halfway towards our target of £1 million. But of course, we will need your help to make sure that we get there by May 2015. There is no doubt that we've already achieved so much: a refurbished hall, a long-term lease of several hundred years, an award-winning recording label, new audiences, and a thriving and dynamic learning programme. But there's always much more to be done and new challenges to rise to, including the absorption of public funding cuts throughout the years ahead. Our continuous investment in new programming has certainly paid off, and commissioning up to 20 new works a year has reinforced the Hall's credentials as a creative platform. This has transformed how the Hall is perceived all over the world as a presenter of contemporary music. And I would like to thank Andre Hoffman for his financial commitment to launching a greatly needed, a major international commissioning scheme for chamber music here at Wigmore Hall, and that has already become one of the most extensive of its kind in Europe. Culture is based on what we share, and it is a process that is being constantly reworked. The Hall goes from strength to strength, but change, balanced with prudent management, is not always easy. It requires vision, courage, determination, and great persistence. We move forward now with a new Wigmore Hall, steeped in a great tradition that we all love, but now reframed and reimagined and based on the needs and the aspirations and the genius of the world's leading musicians. Financial stability gives us the platform to allow flourishing and exciting creative relationships with all of these artists. Today, with the economy once again in recession and with the arts being marginalised not only in government priorities but also in the proposed new curriculum, although there's something of a rethink going on there, let's hope it lasts, we have a significant role to play as a symbol of the importance of maintaining great cultural spaces. We must not allow these spaces to become marginal, tangential, or even abandoned. As we are forced to take account of fiscal realities and economic possibilities, it's important that we continue to harness not only all that is best about Wigmore Hall, but about the arts in general, and to sustain our imaginative potential by nourishing our cultural richness in all its identities and its diversities. The legacy that we leave is of great importance. To quote my compatriot James Joyce, "I am tomorrow or some future day what I established today. I am today what I established yesterday or some previous day." But now, as usual, I'm pleased to introduce several distinguished artists here today to help us launch the season. So please welcome John Mark Ainsley, Susan Bullock, Ian Burnside, the Elias Quartet, Alistair Hogarth, Malcolm Martineau, Yeston Davies, Mark Padmore, Ailish Tynan, Elizabeth Watts, Stila Antico, James Baillieu, and Philip Hyam. And there are a number of artists, including many who can't be with us today, who have very kindly agreed to share their thoughts on what Wigmore Hall means to them as we prepare to launch the new season. So let's hear from them now.
Wigmore Hall is one of my favorite halls in the world.
It's very beautiful.
It's like singing for friends.
For me, it's absolutely perfect.
I think it's one of the most inspiring experiences in the life of a musician to actually play at Wigmore.
You feel that the audience is really there, you know, in a special relationship.
There's no other hall like it in the world where you walk out and you feel that you can actually speak to people and you can feel their presence back.
It's intimate and everybody can feel like they participate in some way. And that gives a particularly wonderful energy to the performance, and as a performer it's something that we value greatly.
It's close enough, and yet with the acoustic being as friendly as it is, it allows singers to be, you know, at the top of their game and really love the experience.
It has a sort of a soul of its own.
I love playing there. It's definitely a very important part of my musical life.
For me, it's just like Pele is playing soccer.
Forget about nerves, that sort of thing, that your nervous energy goes into wanting to fill this hall with the best singing that that one can.
As an instrumentalist, you just feel that there's something adding to your instrument. It's almost as if you're inside a great instrument, and it's sort of helping play your own instrument and giving it extra dimensions to the sound.
It taught me pretty well everything I know about song, I think, just coming to recitals here.
Just to feel the whole buzzing atmosphere of everyone here, it's just fantastic.
It's a wonderful audience, very nice, very friendly, very knowledgeable.
It's really wonderful to walk on stage with the ghosts of people past and present, actually holding your hand, and you take them with you.
It's one of the most reassuring acoustics to perform in. That's one of the delights of it, is you actually stand on stage and think that you sound quite good.
I think the best way to describe Wigmore Hall in a short phrase is never-ending tradition.
Like an old friend I met 35 years ago or 33 years ago, and we had immediately a great conversation, and I think we liked each other.
Wigmore Hall is, for me, the hall we should have in Paris.
It's a jewel of a concert hall.
You feel as a performer that you've got that trust from the hall, that when they invite you to come here, you know they're fully behind you. And I think that's a really rare thing to have in our world.
It's like a second home. I actually selected to find a house near Wigmore Hall so I can walk to my concerts.
As long as I can sing, I feel welcome.
It feels like home, really. I love coming here. Just feels like home.
Tradition, good tradition.
New artists, established artists, the whole gamut. There's nothing that doesn't happen here.
And so to the 2013-14 season, which will be opened on the 7th of September by two great singers, Simon Keenlyside and Bryn Terfel, in a joint recital with Malcolm Martineau. Anyone in search of definitive qualities for the singing of our time could do no better than to begin with the work of these two artists, together with one of our leading and much-loved song pianists. Just before the season opens, we are proud to host the Wigmore Hall Cone Foundation International Song Competition, a vital platform for emerging young singers, and we're very grateful for the generous support of Sir Ralph and Lady Cone, the original inspiration for this marvellous and much-needed competition. Wigmore Hall medalist Menachem Pressler, born in 1923, has lived an extraordinary life by any measure. His artistry bears witness to his experience as a refugee from Nazi Germany, a firebrand young soloist, an inspirational teacher, and one of the world's greatest chamber musicians. Pressler's interpretations continue to astonish and beguile. On the evening of his 90th birthday, he joins forces with three close friends, Paul Watkins, Lawrence Power, and Alexander Kerr, for a tribute to his life and work. The 1930s have aptly been compared to a dark valley, a steep-sided channel into which the two catastrophic ideas of fascism and Soviet communism were funneled and compressed to bursting point. The era's artistic record contains haunting responses to the fear of conflict to come, together with works fueled by faith in the transforming power of art itself. Stephen Isserlis is the central figure in a three-concert programme certain to evoke the creative ferment that touched composers as great events unfolded around them. Music in the Shadow of War includes works by Shostakovich, Stravinsky and Poulenc, and catches the energy of chamber scores conceived as the world lurched from one crisis to the next. And other artists involved in the series include Anthony Marwood, Joshua Bell, Michael Collins and Alexander Melnikov. I'm very pleased that Matthias Gerne will return to the hall after a 3-year absence to offer his mature thoughts on the work of Hugo Wolf, as well as a Schubert song recital with harp accompaniment and a concert in January with the pianist Leif Ove Adsnes. Song Lives brings a fascinating new strand to our Song Recycle programme. The series, overseen by Malcolm Martineau, offers audiences the chance to explore works drawn from specific years or across a composer's creative life. We dig deep beneath the surface of Schumann's song output and the seminal contributions of Debussy and Duparc to the French repertoire, as well as Schubert's songs from 1825 and a first to last overview of the leader of Richard Strauss. Boundary breaking comes naturally to Christina Pluhar and Lara Peggiata, who join us for 3 concerts. Although the Paris-based ensemble and its charismatic founder are steeped in 17th century performance practices, they also understand the importance of improvisation and spontaneous invention to the true spirit of Baroque music. Their fusions of jazz and folk elements with early music styles invariably set creative sparks flying. We also welcome Julian Anderson, Wigmore Hall's second ever composer in residence, who began composing at the age of 11, at first as a way of avoiding playing football. He was soon able to imagine complete works and write them down, and he tells me the major influences on his musical development were Oliver Messiaen, Gregorian chant, the blues, and the sounds of bells. Students travel from all corners of the world to study with him at the Guildhall, and his list of forthcoming performances and commissions, meanwhile, underlines the international significance of his work, and you will see his influence right throughout the season and the years ahead. Recent discoveries in neuroscience suggest that there was far greater surface and substance to Michael Tippett's long creative engagement with the multiple layers of human consciousness than many of his contemporary critics were ready to accept. Wigmore Hall returns to the composer's output in the company of the Heath Quartet, Craig Ogden, Stephen Osborne, Mark Padmore, and James Baillieu for what promises to be a revelatory Tippett celebration right across the season. The Jerusalem Quartet presents a Shostakovich cycle, and our associate artist, the Takash Quartet, join us with 6 concerts, chiefly comprising of works written within the bounds of the old Habsburg Empire. A full list of our string quartet concerts, a remarkable 80 in total throughout the season, is given in your brochure, which you will receive later on, and watch out especially for the Elias Quartet's Beethoven cycle. News of Daniel Trifonov's triumph at the Moscow International Piano Competition flashed around the musical world in June 2011. 9 months later, the 21-year-old Russian pianist brought his outstanding talent to London for a Wigmore Hall debut recital that prompted a standing ovation for his myriad imaginative touches, and we welcome him back in October and in December. The roots of Andras Schiff's life-affirming artistry can be traced to his childhood lessons in Budapest with George Malcolm, and his mature interpretations reflect his questing mind and his independent spirit. Among his many signal achievements, Schiff has liberated Bach's keyboard music from the increasingly narrow confines of period instrument performance in the 1970s and went on to develop revelatory readings of the composer's landmark compositions. He follows his sold-out Beethoven cycle this season with 5 all-Bach recitals next season, and Andras is set to crown his achievement when he celebrates his 60th birthday on this platform on the 21st of December by performing Beethoven's Diabelli variations and Bach's Goldberg variations in one extraordinary Wigmore evening. Today's event is a good opportunity for me to reinforce how humbled and grateful I am for your trust and for your support and for your faith in my artistic programme. Artists and those who love music are central to my ongoing vision for Wigmore Hall, so I'm very pleased that you all want to be part of this journey. Your ongoing support as the group of people closest to us and your endorsement as those who have our interests most at heart will undoubtedly galvanise support from others. We now present the largest solo piano and chamber music series anywhere in Europe, and there are almost 50 concerts in our newly enhanced early music and Baroque programme, a revised strand of which we are particularly proud. We have seen in recent years the dangers of only valuing and utilising our assets based on purely material considerations. Many countries throughout Europe are learning from harsh experience that the most valuable things in life cannot be measured in purely economic terms. High-quality arts hubs and a fully rounded education are amongst the most valuable things that we can all fight for. Let's hope that an older wisdom is returning and that economic recovery is combined with community outreach, artistic and educational needs. There are, of course, too many artists in the season for me to list all of them at once. However, before I go, I must mention a few additional names who will join us throughout the season, because some of you aren't looking excited enough already. So here's the list. Yo-Yo Ma, Mitsuko Chida, Jonas Kaufmann, Lézard Florison and William Christie, Rudolf Buchbinder, Christian Zacharias, Julia Fischer, Gerald Finley, who is in residence, jazz saxophonist Joshua Redman, Christian Gerhaher in 3 concerts, master classes from Brigitte Fassbender and Olaf Baer, a celebration of Rachmaninoff songs with Ian Burnside, and recitals from Miklos Perenyi, Stila Antiko, the Cardinals' music, and many, many more. So, renewed thanks to you all for everything that you do for this very special hall, and we will welcome those very special artists. Thank you very much indeed.